Hi, my name's Cory Mayo, licensed realtor with Monument Sotheby's, and welcome to Who's in the House, your podcast for everything coastal Delaware. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, that notification bell. That way you're updated every time I upload new podcasts or videos. And if at any time you have questions, feel free to email us at info@who'sinthehouse.de as in Delaware.com. You can also call or text 302-466-5511. Now sit back and enjoy this episode of Who's in the House. So Henlopen Acres. This is one of those listings that does not come on the market very frequently.
That is correct.
Yeah, very, very far and few between do we have listings that come up in Henlopen Acres, and
There's a few reasons for that.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to say. I really want to dive into the community a lot because just us chatting, I've learned things that as long as I've been in the industry, which is nearly as long as you, I had no idea about, but I don't want to do spoiler alerts, so I'm going to let you talk a little bit more about that. But the listing, and obviously even more so, we have Jennifer Lamson here, who is, our tenured, and specialist over there at Henlopen Acres. And, a good reason for that is it's where you reside.
That's true.
Yeah. You've been in Henlopen.
Call it home.
Yeah. How long have you lived there?
Lived there over 20 years.
Oh.
Almost 22 years, I think.
So you know it obviously inside and out.
Yeah.
A couple times.
Yeah, but there are a lot of people there that have lived there a lot longer. And we have a lot of multi-generational families.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't know that.
But that plays into one of the reasons why there are so few homes for sale that come to market, because families really treasure.
Do they go from they just pass it down the line?
Yes.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, it's got an amazing location. It's right there on the water and right by.
Very unique location. It truly is. It sits right on the north side of Rehoboth, and it's between the Atlantic Ocean and the Lewis-Rehoboth Canal.
Yeah.
So we're surrounded by water. We have an amazing tree canopy. So you're smelling the pines and having the shade. People love to come over and walk and bike and come through our community. But it's not on the way to anywhere. It's its own little enclave, its own little oasis there of just a few streets. It's 206 lots.
Is it 206? Is that all it is?
Yeah. But our tree canopy is like 75% versus maybe 20% in Rehoboth. So, again, won a lot of awards for that. It's something we have tree committees. We really look to preserve that, which was part of, when the town was first conceived by Colonel Corcoran, who is an architect and an engineer and a developer. When he purchased the land 100 years ago, pretty much like 1930, 180 acres of a family farm, the Dodd Farm. And he moved into the oldest. There was one property there. It was built in the early 1700s, one of the earliest houses.
Okay.
And he had this idea of creating this seaside oasis. He'd grown up spending time in Rehoboth with his dad, who was a Methodist minister. And, that's the founding of Rehoboth, really, was for these Methodist camps. So it was an annual retreat.
I didn't know that. That's really cool.
Yeah, so that's like in the 1800s that they were doing this. And so they built little cottages in town for these for this camp kind of thing. And so he wanted to create a more exclusive kind of seaside place, and really worked on bringing people outside from Rehoboth to come up and purchase land from him. Mm-hmm. The lots were twice the size. The lots are a good half acre or more in Henlopen Acres versus.
Yeah, and one thing you said a minute ago, which is something that you told me earlier today, which I had no idea about. Now, you said this little town. I always was just under the assumption it was Rehoboth.
Yeah.
I had no
its
idea.
own town. That happened in 1970, so it's 50 years that it's been incorporated.
That's so cool. I had no idea.
Municipality. There are 57 municipalities in our little state of Delaware, and Henlopen Acres is one of them. We have 7 commissioners that are elected, and the commissioners then select the mayor.
Yeah.
From there, and that's how the town is run, and there are 3 lots remaining that are not developed. There's one that's being developed right now, and so it's 157 people live there, maybe.
Wow.
Year round, but as I said, just over 203 homes in the acres, and in addition to these large and tree-lined streets, these large lots. We also have the colonel's wife was big on the arts and on gardening, and they created the Art League in 1938.
What's that?
This is a place where people work. It's a working studio space. You could go and take classes there. You can go
in Henlopen Acres?
Yes.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's a whole campus, 3 acres. It's like the crown jewel right in the center of the town. A beautiful gardens that have been maintained. They were recently just did a lot of work on them. And so this Peter Marsh house, the original house, and then these studio spaces, working studios, and gallery space. And every year we have their annual outdoor show, a juried show. Runs 2 weekends in end of July, early August. And then there are art shows and openings like first Friday, I think.
Now, are those spaces able to be like rented or used or by people that live there? Or how does that work as far as the spaces, or is it just for the community?
It's for the community at large. They do a lot with kids, with the schools. They go out into the schools and introduce them to art.
Wow, that's awesome.
And so, yeah, it's a great thing. So
yeah,
it's beautiful. I mean, just walking through the gardens, which I have the luxury of doing every day. It's really
the whole community. Well, I keep calling it community, but I guess the whole town is. I remember during the
both.
Yeah, no, yeah, exactly.
It's a tight knit community.
It's a
so I think
community
through the
town.
Art League, we also have a marina in town that was part of the Colonel's original plans. This house that we'll talk about at some point today is right across from the marina. We have 57 slips in there.
Is there also launches there? Or is there like a launch if someone has a boat and they don't want to keep a slip that they can launch it? Or is it so it's just you would launch at the public launch down the street and then you have 57 slips, so you just keep your boat at the slip, which makes life a whole lot easier. Having it.
I was thrown off a tad bit there when you said a launch. We have a kayak launch.
Oh, that's cool.
And we have a place to store all the kayaks if you were living there, wanted to do that. Makes it very easy, or your paddle boards.
Yeah.
And then the other thing that Colonel Corcoran also incorporated into the original plan was a beach club and beach house. So we have, I think, the largest parcel of undeveloped land on the coast. And,
really?
Yeah. We've got.
I feel like I need to pull that up on Google Maps so we can so we can actually see as you're talking.
Cory Mayo, fact checker. What is she talking about?
It is
I think it's 9 acres of
amazing.
land is this area we call Block W, and everybody that owns land in Henlopen Acres owns a part of that, and there's a nominal annual fee, $150, I think, to maintain it. And then there's another 3 acres that was allocated to what would become the Henlopen Acres Beach Club. And a clubhouse was built I think about 1960-ish. And so we have facilities and decks to have events, and we do fun things like Friday night music on the deck, and
that is
have
awesome.
Live musicians come in, and people gather around, bring nibbles and beverages and so forth. We do a lot of things for kids programs, and residents can rent out the space for
that's cool. Parties or
weddings
whatever,
and family events and so forth. And then, of course, the beach service is with umbrellas and chairs. We have, the local companies come in and set that up for us. So you
cool.
just need to bring just a towel.
So you have access. You can. I'm just looking here on the map. North Surf Ave. This is not part of it, or is part. I'm trying to get my bearings here.
Keep going down. Keep going the other way, north.
Oh, go north. Sorry, the other down.
Henlopen
Acres Beach Club.
Right
Check
there.
that out.
And from there south toward the all of that is Block W. So
all of this.
You can go in and bring your own chairs, or I think they probably could bring some chairs over for you. But that's all. It's just beautiful, unspoiled beach with these gorgeous dunes. All the parking.
So this parking here is for you guys.
Courts. That's all part of the club.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So people from that are vacationing in Rehoboth don't come in here. They don't have access to use this parking lot and this beach house.
That's correct.
Wow. I mean that's.
And then we also have a local tennis pro and a big tennis community and they have round robins and little tournaments and so
very
forth.
cool.
It's a very big deal.
I think that, and that's a big part of it. I mean, obviously, when we're looking at houses and as we're starting to calculate prices, and that as agents, we obviously want to try to sell our clients' homes and get them as much as we can, but at the same time also being realistic so it will actually sell. But the house is one thing, but the land that it sits on is a completely different thing. If you pick a house up and move it 30 miles inland, it changes the price, or in this case, even a mile north or south, which would take it into a different town, which I now know.
You took it one street away.
Wow.
Which, we, Henlopen Acres is adjacent to the Pines, the north part of Rehoboth.
Yeah.
And so if you took it one street over, then you would not have access to the amenities.
All these private amenities that are just for the residents of Henlopen Acres.
That's correct.
Which is huge because, and especially for people that know Rehoboth, and I live in Lewis on the west side, and Rehoboth is a lot of fun. The kids love it, and we don't go there as much in season as we do off season because you're fighting with all the public amenities the same way that everyone is. So you guys are right around the corner from even going down to, Funland for, if you have friends that come to visit, that have children or whatever, and you want to go to the boardwalk or you want to go to the Ave or whatever, but you also don't have to fight through all the umbrellas and everything else and going to the Ave and trying to find parking.
Right.
This is all right here.
And you can make dinner reservations to some of the best restaurants in the area and just walk there.
Yeah, because it really is. I mean, it's funny.
Go to the bandstand and hear the music on the weekends
and it's all a walk away. During the holiday season, we had reservations. I forget where it was, but we had a little bit of a wait. So we got in the car and we went down to by the bandstand and looked at the tree. And then I'm like, I want to go drive through Henlopen Acres, through what I thought was a community, not going into a different town. And it's the tree factor is the first thing I feel like you notice when you go into Henlopen Acres, because Rehoboth is so kind of beachy. And a lot of the surrounding areas are very beachy. And Henlopen Acres is this, I think you used the word oasis. And that's kind of what, but not like oasis as in the Caribbean. It's the canopy, that tree canopy. All of a sudden, it's like you're in all of this beautiful scenic setting. And I didn't even know because it was dark that you had all of these other amenities that are specific to your town. Yeah. I mean, that's a home run. I mean, it really is. But that's what makes it special. I think that's probably why, even outside of the generational aspect of homes. But that's why we hardly ever see homes come up for sale in there because of all of these. And that's probably also why people want to keep it in the family, because it doesn't happen frequently.
Yeah, because they have
Yeah. It's awesome. It really is.
And all the memories that the families share.
Sure. And I'm sure that home sizes in their range. I don't know what's probably like the smallest one that you've ever seen in there, or that you're aware of.
Well, there are a couple of original homes. There are several that were designed by Colonel Corcoran.
Oh, cool.
And so there's. I couldn't really tell you what the smallest square footage is, but I could tell you that if that the maximum square footage is 6,000 square feet that you could build.
And that's
in there.
Yeah.
Which again, there's an architectural review committee, environmental review it's called, but I actually served on that for several terms.
Of course you did.
But it's it's we still work off of the same guidelines and principles and rules of the codes that the Colonel had put into place to maintain it. And I think that's what's happened to a lot of communities is, older communities where people came in and things just changed and evolved and lost sight of some of those things. And he really wanted to create this seaside.
Well, when you drive through there, at least from my perspective when I was looking, like no two homes really look alike, which I think is that's important. Especially when you are talking about someone who's looking at during a price point, a much higher price point, looking for a home that has that unique aspect of it. You don't want to have the next three homes that have that similar look and feel, which there's plenty of that's down here for sure, especially in newer communities with new construction. When there's a single builder, they all kind of have this similar characteristics, even though the shapes and size may be different, but you can tell, that was this designer. These all were, no builder tie-in type of things. They just hired someone to design a home to their liking.
Yes.
That's huge,
Yeah, and the home that I'm currently listing was a custom home, and it was designed by an architect named Radcliffe, and he was from the Baltimore area, and he also had a home that he designed and raised his family in.
Wow.
Just around the corner from this house. And one of his daughters has a home on another street that she built subsequent. And his son is an architect and has designed homes in the acres. So
I commend you to such a high level. I mean, the fact that you even know those details, there's tons of great agents that are down here. And I think, but not all agents are created equal. And yes, we work for the same brokerage. And yes, I'm a cheerleader of yours and you're a great friend. But the detail in which you go to when you're working for your clients, the amount of time, energy, and work that you put into when you're listing a home for a client, but also making sure that you're knowledgeable on the property. You need to be able to relay that, because as we know, when a buyer's agent comes through with a buyer, they're looking at price point, bedrooms, bathrooms, maybe but they don't know all those details, and you're able to relay that versus, other agents are just, listing a home and they don't know maybe the heritage of the home. And so I really commend your detail and work ethic and that you put into each one of these listings. It's inspiring for sure. And this home is nothing short of a Jennifer Lamson listing. It is spectacular. It really is, a great location. What year? When was it built?
Built in 1984.
Okay.
So they bought the lot and put up the home right away, and the same family just lovingly maintained and raised their family. It's a second home.
Which second homes, and obviously everyone they use it however they use it, but obviously not being as a primary, it's not quite as heavily used as a primary home, which is always good to hear. So here's where it's located. Here is Tidewaters, and this is where you were saying just a short distance away is the marina, which is number one. I mean, I don't know. My family, we go to marinas all the time and watch boats come in and out because it's just relaxing. I don't know. It's nice. And if you're into it,
the water's relaxing, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, just looking out over the marina, there's a big open space there of a big where your cursor is, a big grass field that you can go and play, do whatever you want. But you've got that unobstructed view out over the marina, and then the canal on the other side of that, and then beyond that is all preserved, undeveloped, unspoiled lands. We have eagles that are nesting back there and flying over every day, and
here's due west. So are you? This is the sunsets on here. Wow,
gorgeous sunsets. Yeah.
Sorry, I had to pause for a minute. That's really I'm sure it's stunning. Really, from location standpoint, it's top notch. And this canal, so this will take you. You can go north and head up through to get to the inlet.
Takes you into Lewis.
The Roosevelt Inlet to get out into the Delaware Bay, or you could go south into the Rehoboth Bay.
That's correct.
Which is it closer to? I guess closer to Rehoboth Bay, which is where all the fun happens.
Where all the fun happens. Wait a minute. We love Lewis, Cory. You kidding? Going up there? I probably voted more to Lewis than to.
Oh, did you really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's just really unspoiled. That whole waterway up to Lewis is gorgeous. My boat was always down in Indian River, so Indian River Bay. So we do that and then go up and around, dodge the sandbars, going around Massey's Landing to get up into Rehoboth Bay. Yeah. And there's a lot of action in Dewey. I'm just giving you a hard time.
No, but I mean honestly. They call this the Roosevelt Inlet, but it's not like your typical inlet. Normally, inlet is the bay going into the ocean. This is a canal going into a bay, so it's not the same thing. People think inlet of that. Oh my goodness, I have to just kind of full throttle try to get out into the water. This is you just putz around and you're out. Yeah. And there's amazing stuff that goes on in here. The yacht club is right here. You'll see the sailboats around 5 o'clock going down and around the lighthouse, which is super cool. So you're right, and it's you can come up here and dock up in Lewis and do some dining and have a couple drinks and relax, and then putz back down quietly and calmly until you get home. But it's so it's obviously an amazing location for that. And if you're anyone that you're obviously thinking about having a boat, this is a no-brainer because the marina's right there. But then you're just a couple blocks over from being to the ocean.
See where the house is. If you just follow Tidewaters straight down, so it's really like a block and a half.
Okay.
So.
And there's a beach club.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just cross over.
Yeah.
So it's within Henlopen Acres. It is a prime location.
Absolutely.
Because you're right across from the marina, as we said, a block and a half to the beach, which you can go down there, run home, grab something, ride your bike back down. In and out. It's so easy versus if you're at the other end of the community.
Yeah.
You've got more like a mile.
A little bit more effort
to get down there. And the Art League, seems you were asking about that. Go south with your cursor. Okay. See Art League right there?
I don't.
Look left.
Look left.
See, it says
Art League. There it is.
So those are the buildings, and it's all that 3 acres right there of just.
Wow.
So you're two houses away from the Art League.
That's really cool. Yeah, and I didn't know anything about the Art League, so I'm gonna have to do some more research on this because I'm sure there's just so much more, obviously, than even we can discuss here. We could probably do a whole separate podcast just about the Art League, which we may have to do.
Maybe we should.
But it's really cool, to have that within your compound or your town, as we would say. But that's really it adds to all of it. And again, I want to jump into the house a little bit, but that's all really important because and I tell clients this all the time. When we're buying or building, and we're assessing a price and is it worth it or not, and the price is for the home, but it's not just for the home. You're buying all of it. You're buying the community, you're buying the friends, you're buying the memories, you're buying all of that. And so, what does each community attribute? What type of memories can you create? And if it's just one of those little 26 home communities with no amenities, and that's what you're looking for, that's great. Mm-hmm. But if you're looking for something like this, it does have, I mean, besides having grocery stores, do you have a grocery store? I don't think you do, right?
It is completely residential.
Okay.
There is no commercial.
That's good.
Within our community, and we have a first right of refusal the town has on every sale, and I think that's primarily to ensure that the purchaser is looking to abide by those rules, that you're not bringing anything commercial in.
Yeah.
We have a town hall, but we don't. That's strictly to serve the people.
Sure.
Of the community. So.
No, it's nice to know that there's not going to be some go-kart track that ends up coming in there or something. It keeps that beauty that people are buying into. It keeps everyone's property value, and if it's written into kind of like those rules that you can hope that those rules will be maintained, and that it maintains that value that people are going to be investing in. I mean, look at that. I mean, that's just, here's the house, right?
That's correct.
Here's the view of the canal, and here's the view of the ocean. That's really, it's spectacular. But as you get into the house, I'm a big fan. I'm sure everyone is, and this is going to sound super cliche, but I don't know. I'm a big fan of natural light.
Oh, absolutely.
And this house is absolutely not lacking in that area in any way, shape, or form. These floors, the wide boards, hardwood floors in it, just
wide planks.
Yeah, I mean, really
adds a warmth to the home. I mean, it was, I think, built in designed in '84. I think that was quite a marvel to think about what they planned and the foresight they had and so forth. The design was quite, but that it's withstood the test of time, and it still
feels,
has that open
it still feels
concept,
right.
All that natural light coming in,
like it could be replicated today, and obviously there'd be some maybe like fit and finishes that would change. But I mean, if this were built, someone would move into it and be like, "This is beautiful." I mean, it's not that far off. But no, that the colors on it's clean looking, but still has the warmth. I think that's where that tone of the floors really comes in. And I am, by no stretch of the imagination, a decorator. So the fact that I can pick up on it obviously is done well, because I'm really good at putting things place. Like I'll tell my wife, what should go there, and she'll pick it out. I'll do it perfectly. I just don't know what to put there. So
that last shot, if you want to shoot back there for a sec, this is standing on the second story.
Okay.
Looking through a big cutout down, overlooking the living, dining, and it opens out to 2 3-season porches.
Oh, these are 2 separate spaces here. Oh, okay, I didn't. So
in the past, maybe, I don't remember. Within the past several years, they actually put a wall between that to create yet another little space.
So that's right.
Between those two, it was one big porch.
Yeah, it's a huge porch.
So yeah, they have windows on one of them, and they have the 3-season windows. Vinyl windows on Easy Breeze on the left side.
That's awesome.
So you can have lots of, and they're all screened, so you can have all the natural air coming through, or you can close it up, and you got spaces if you needed to do a little,
Yeah, and our climate can be so mild down here. I mean, 3 seasons truly can get you into December for sure. I mean, I guess
we know how to layer. Right?
Exactly. If you have enough coats, February maybe, But
sure.
No, but it's,
and fireplace there in the living room that's just been converted to gas, so it's super easy when you arrive. Just flip it on.
And by gas, you mean natural gas, not propane, or is it propane?
No, I mean propane fueled that fireplace.
Awesome.
Just the fireplace.
Yep.
Went from wood burning.
Which is, for anyone that has ever had a wood burning fireplace, everyone always thinks that it's, so amazing because it's in all of the marketing shots, and especially around the holiday seasons, and, but it is a mess. It's a pain in the neck to deal with, and it's not great for heat. I mean, all the heat goes out the chimney, So but the biggest thing is you want to go to sleep, and what do you do? You can't just flip the switch and go to bed. So it looks beautiful. Obviously, it's not some, off the rack type of fireplace. So it's done, very well. But it's the ease of flip the switch where it's on, and then flip it off when you want to go to bed. No, going to bed smelling like a campfire, which is nice too. Yeah. This is just really the beams in there, kind of tie in with the floor. It's a really beautiful home. So it is what, 5-bed? Let me go back here. 5-bed, four bath, 3,500 square feet.
It has a first floor primary suite.
Okay, perfect.
That's really quite substantial in size, and in addition, it has another first floor guest room and a full bath, and then on the rear side of the property, it has kind of a separate room that en suite that could be an Annie suite or an in-law suite. So it really affords quite a bit of privacy.
Sure.
To the owners, the guests, and then upstairs there are 2 additional guest rooms with a Jack and Jill. Between them, a loft area where you could, set up and have the kids watch movies, and then another room that the owners use as an office that has a lot of amazing light and windows that could be converted into a yoga studio. It could be a hobby room. It could be another bedroom.
Well, and if this is a secondary home, having an office space is obviously, something that is important, because a lot of people, they do come down during the off season or in season, and they still need a space to work. But the biggest thing is that, a lot of times these homes, you become the beach house for friends and family. So having additional en-suites is huge, especially if it's, you're a grandparent and your adult children or and your grandkids, they like to have that en-suite aspect. So that way the kids, especially come back from the beach, got to get them cleaned off somehow. Yeah. So it definitely lends itself to having that, kind of multi-generational, environment of having kids and grandkids come down to visit.
It does have an outdoor shower.
Oh, better yet.
Little 2 back and side entrances, so you can come in off the beach, take your shower, walk in back through the mudroom, and then go on in.
Which, if for people that haven't lived here before, when you have sand and hardwood floors, it's nice to have the outdoor shower, so that doesn't happen.
That's right.
So, no, it's I think it's one of those homes, and again, I'm sure everybody wants it, just not everyone has a budget. That's quite up in this price point at $4,495,000, but there are plenty of people that do. And again, it's the exclusivity of Henlopen Acres that really lends itself to the property and that price point, because it really is unique. And anyone that has been looking at Rehoboth, and they, especially on that northern side of Rehoboth, to where you start to find more of that tree canopy type of like Rehoboth setting, but you still you're still fighting with everyone else. Everyone, although the rentals and everything that's going on in Rehoboth in season, to get access to beach life and everything else, you still got to deal with that. You don't have your own private stuff, so this is special.
You can really come and relax.
Yeah. How frequently, if you had to say, how frequently have you found that homes even come on in Henlopen Acres? Obviously, I'm sure it comes in spurts, but it's like one a year, or like.
I don't even think we would average one a year.
Wow.
Over the past several years, there have been a couple in the past. Have been 2 in the past 2 years, but we probably went a long period before that.
Yeah.
So you don't know when the next one's coming either, and if you're looking to get into Henlopen Acres, this is
you have to strike while the iron's hot, for sure, because yes, there could be a listing in 2 months, or it could be 2 years. So this is one of those homes. It's not one of the original houses that maybe wasn't taken care of and you'd have to do a tear down and rebuild or whatever. This is like move-in ready. It's stunning. So this is absolutely for people that are, they're looking for Henlopen Acres. They should be reaching out and, getting into this house and seeing if it, as I say, we're trying on jeans, see how this pair of jeans fits. And this is definitely a designer pair for sure. So. Well, Jen, thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
No, it's been a pleasure, and I'll be excited to have you back on so we can talk about Henlopen Acres in particular more, and talk about the Art League. What's it called? Art League. Yes, and then hopefully we'll have an update on how this listing went. So
Terrific.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being on. I appreciate it.
Thank you,
Thank
Cory.
you. Thanks again for tuning in to this episode of Who's in the House. If you still have questions, feel free to email us at info@who'sinthehouse, DE as in Delaware.com. You can also call or text any questions to 302-466-5511. And don't forget, hit that subscribe button, that notification bell. And in the meantime, keep an eye out for our next episodes. We look forward to seeing you then. Have a great day.